it is much rarer to not be taking something than it is
Right.
to be taking many things. Polypharmacy is the name. Is like polypharmacy, taking
Right.
many different medications. I mean, I work in part in what's called intermediate care, which is partly would be elderly care for people who've got medical issues, and we're trying to get them back onto their feet. And we have a drug chart, and it has each drug chart has 16 spaces for different drugs, and 50% of the patients in our unit need two drug charts because they can't all be fitted on one. So
Wow.
50% are on more than 16 different medications. And
Wow.
if I try and take anybody off anything, I just get shouted at by their primary care physician. He said, "Why on earth have you stopped there? Whatever, you know."
Right.
And I go, because when I was at medical school, we were told no one should be on more than five medications maximum, if at all possible. But that seems to have switched around. Nowadays, the issue seems to be
We start with
no one should
five
be
and
on
go
less.
up from there now, right?
Five is the minimum. You know, what do you mean they're only on five medications? You know? I mean, what are you doing? You're trying to kill them. And you say that patients' relatives. I had going back about a month, I had a patient who was 102 years old, a fully demented patient in a nursing home. And the staff were saying, "Oh, well, she can't really swallow tablets. Can you put her on a liquid statin now?" And I
A
went, "No."
statin for a 102-year-old female.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
don't
said,
know
"Well,
what else you need to know besides that. I mean,
I know.
that's
Well, the only other thing you need to know is that as a tablet, the statin is about $30 a year. As a liquid formulation, it's about 3,000.
well, well. How about that? Isn't that amazing? I'm acquainted with an older gentleman who had a stroke, 6 months ago. They had him on 10 medications.
Yeah.
10 different medications. Testosterone was not one of them, by the way. They had him on 10 medications. And he had the stroke. He came out of the hospital, and they had him on 11. Now, the 11th one was an antidepressant.
I know.
I think if you're 73 and you've been in the hospital with a stroke, that it's probably fair to say that some degree of depression is normal. But Malcolm, I know of at least one doctor and probably his brother here in Wichita Falls that have put people on an SSRI prescription on the basis of a 45-second visit in the little room off to the side of the hall. I know people who have been put on statins without having seen the doctor, just on the basis of their blood work, without having spoken to the doctor.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on. And we have been trained as a society that that medicines are all good for you. They're all good for you, and the more you're on, the better you'll be. And this is a function of a very, very bad science education for the vast majority of the population.
Well, I think so. I remember looking at, there's very few studies have been done on taking people off medications because, of course, once you're on, everyone's terrified that if you take someone off and then something happens, you'll be held responsible for that thing happening.
Yes, you'll be sued.